Hey guys, welcome back. Today I just wanted to talk to you and show you a few things that can help you do better if you find yourself in a roadside SHTF. Some of these things you may have already learned by bad experiences, finding yourself stranded on the side of the road. Hopefully this will be helpful to you, and if you do find yourself stranded or have a roadside SHTF, you'll do better. I wrote some notes here because I do want to be very thorough. So I'm going to go down my list. So we spend a lot of time in our cars, right? Some people have long transit times to work. Some people just like driving around. We spend a lot of time in our cars. But a lot of people don't know simple things about how their car runs, about how to fix things like a flat tire, how to change tires, how to change their oil, simple things like that. I'm going to go through the list of things that I think that you should have and things that you should know. A car jack. You should have a car jack in your car in case you need to change a tire. You can't rely on roadside assistance to come to your rescue, because what if you can't get in touch with them and you're on your own? What if the phone lines go down? You can't call anyone for help. Have a car jack in your car and know how to use it. You can't just put a car jack under any part of your car and start jacking it up. It needs to be under a certain position. So learn that. Have a spare tire in your car. A lot of people just assume they have a spare tire. If you bought your car used and that spare tire was already gone, make sure you actually have a spare tire, a good one, in your vehicle. And a lug wrench. I like this 4-way because the 4-way one, you can really get a lot of torque and use your body weight to turn the lugs. Also, something very simple that people don't know how to do is changing a tire. You cannot jack your car up and then try to loosen the lugs to take your tire off. That's pretty simple and basic to most people, but if you've never changed a tire before, that might not be something that you know. If you find yourself stranded on the side of the road, make sure that you have one of those emergency triangles that kind of illuminate, like a reflector type thing, so that other cars coming can see you there and don't drive too close to you, or they know that you're in trouble if somebody can help you. Another thing I have to say, if you are stranded on the side of the road and you're a female, be wary of anyone that pulls over to try to help you. And this is why I say have all this stuff for yourself so you're not depending on someone to come save you. If you're a female and you're all by yourself, make sure you have some form of protection. Make sure you have a knife, pepper spray. I keep this knife in my car, actually in my purse all the time. This is my trusty knife. But not only for self-defense, you need to have a good knife in your vehicle. But if you're a woman or even a man, just be wary of the people that come to be your savior and rescue you. I hate to say it, and you want to believe that people are good, but there's been a lot of incidences where people got abducted, kidnapped, murdered on the side of the road. Anyway, trying to keep this light. Okay, your emergency triangle. A flashlight, super, super helpful. Just have a flashlight in your car. If you are on the side of the road and say your battery dies, you're stuck in your car all by yourself, your lights in your car aren't on, it's nighttime, maybe you have to take a trek down the road and it's dark out, you want to have a flashlight on you. A first aid kit, so just a basic first aid kit with band-aids, wraps, antiseptic wipes, Advil, that kind of thing. And then if you can, a trauma kit, something with tourniquets, something with splints, something for the more severe injuries. You could help somebody else with those items, or you might have to tend to yourself with first aid items. Make sure that you have water and snacks in your vehicle, anything. Any water, any kind of granola bar, anything that's going to stay good for a little while. Make sure you have just some in your car. You don't want to wind up being stranded somewhere and you're going hours and hours without food or drink because no one can get to you. Any number of situations that somebody might not be able to get to you right away. Another reason for having water in your vehicle. If your radiator's overheating, you don't have radiator fluid and you do need to just add some water to your radiator, sometimes that's a quick fix. It'll get you by until you can get to a service station or somewhere to get your car looked at. But yeah, water for a couple different purposes. Let's see. Oh, an emergency blanket or bivy. I actually gave these out in one of my Christmas, was it 12 Days of Christmas Prepper series. This is an emergency blanket. It's one of those Mylar type ones that once you fold it out, you can never fold it back up. You guys know what these are, emergency blankets. So if you are in a colder environment and your car breaks down, it's freezing cold out, and you have to wait hours for somebody to come help you, or you just have to spend the night in your car, you want to make sure that you have a couple of those, or one for every passenger. Some warm blankets, jackets, socks. Hopefully you don't leave the house without warm clothing if you do live in a cold environment. And then make sure that your cell phone stays charged. Don't let it get down to 5%. Make sure it stays charged, and then make sure you have a battery backup type thing like this and all the proper cords to be able to recharge your phone. These ones hold a lot of juice, so you can charge your phone over and over. Definitely want to have one of these in your car. If your battery dies, your car dies, and your cell phone battery is also dying, you're not going to be able to call the emergency services, friends or family, or whoever it is that is going to help you get out of that situation. Make sure your phone stays charged and you have a backup. Also, speaking of calling people, make sure that you have your insurance card and their phone number. Don't depend on some insurance app or your roadside assistance. If you have roadside assistance, don't depend on your phone working and being able to look up their phone number. If somebody, say your phone is dead and you've not done all these other things to be responsible and keep your phone charged, and somebody comes and pulls up and they're like, well, do you have roadside assistance? We can call them. And you're like, yeah, I have no idea. I do, but I don't know their number. I don't know my information. Make sure you have all that information on you, your registration, emergency phone numbers for any family members that you might be able to call from, you know, a nice Samaritan's phone. A lot of people depend on their own cell phone and storing phone numbers that way. But say I was driving on my own and I got stranded. Somebody came, pulled up, and they're offering to help, and I need to call my son or, you know, mom or something to let them know I'm stranded, but I don't have any of their numbers memorized. You need to have these things written down somewhere or have a really good memory. Along the lines of the tire situation, if you don't completely blow out your tire and it's just like a nail or something that you ran over, a screw that you ran over, and it's slowly leaking air, make sure you have some Fix-A-Flat and make sure you know how to use it. Fix-A-Flat is like a compressed bottle of foamy goo stuff that fills up that you put in your tire, and it fills up the hole. And then make sure, I just got this recently actually, and I'm very happy I did. Make sure you have some kind of an air compressor so that you can fill up your tire, even if it's just adding a few PSI. Make sure you know how much PSI your tire can take. You don't want to extremely overfill it. In most cases, you can overfill it by a few PSI, but you don't want to fill it up too much. You put like 60 PSI in there and blow your tire out. This one has a little flashlight on it, and it will tell me how much PSI my tire is at, and then fill it from there. This one I went with because you can hook it up to both your your cigarette outlet, what do you call this? Your DC outlet in your car, and you can hook it up in the wall. So if I wanted to use this to blow up bike tires and whatnot, I don't have to have it hooked up to my car. What else? Okay, so we got the self-defense thing. If you can carry legally and safely, then make sure you're carrying. If not, get yourself a knife, pepper spray. Know stuff about your car. We all depend on just being able to drive up to a service station and then, you know, hooking up the OBD and figuring out what's wrong with your car. Know the warning signs and know a general, just little bit about your vehicle. Keep up on general maintenance for your vehicle. Do your oil changes. Make sure you get your brake pads changed. Make sure your rotors are in good shape. Make sure you get all your other fluids flushed. Make sure you're keeping up on those general maintenance things, and understand these things. When you take your car in for a service, ask them questions so you can learn a little bit about it in case one day you need to do this stuff for yourself. Know about your vehicle and how it works. Oh, here we go. This is the Rescue Me glass breaker and seatbelt cutter. There's a very sharp blade right here that will cut your seatbelt if you wind up flying off a bridge into the water. And you need to get out of your car. You've seen it in the movies. It's almost impossible to get out of your vehicle once the pressure from the water surrounds your vehicle. So your seatbelt might lock up and you might not be able to get out of your vehicle. This little blade here will cut your seatbelt off. And then this end here, you're going to just push against the glass, and this very sharp, pointy spike pokes out of it at a very rapid speed, and that will break your glass so that you can get out of your vehicle. You can't just use this on any glass. You can't use it on your front windshield. Most likely it's not going to work because that glass is laminated glass. The rear windows are tempered glass. Just look at the little label on the glass. One of them says tempered glass and one of them says something else. So go to the back of the vehicle to try to bust open your window, or you're going to be trying really, really hard. And what else? Let's see. Road maps, like paper, old school road maps. Have some of those for your local area. If you're traveling out of town, make sure to grab a road map for that area. A lot of times visitor centers will give them out to you for free, and learn how to read them. A lot of people don't know how to use maps anymore because they're just used to like Google Maps or, you know, whatever GPS on your phone. But know how to use them and have them in your vehicle just in case. You don't want to wind up on some back road in the middle of nowhere with no lights, you know, those dark, creepy roads in the middle of the night, and your phone isn't working. Maybe you have no GPS signal. Maybe your phone is just offline. Learn how to use maps. An empty 5-gallon tank, or even the smaller ones. I think it's like a 1 or 2 gallon tank. Have one of those in your vehicle. I don't think it's safe to drive around. Maybe it'll be okay, but to drive around with gas tanks full of gas, especially in like the Florida heat when it's really hot out, I don't think it's safe because it kind of expands inside of the gas containers. But at least keep a container so that if you get stuck a few miles from a gas station, you can take a hike and get to the gas station and you have something to fill it up. A lot of gas stations have those gas tanks, but some of them don't. What if they just happen to be out of stock and you have no way of getting gas back to your vehicle? A fire extinguisher. I kind of put a question mark on this one because I don't know if it's safe to keep a fire extinguisher. It's got to be. It's got to be. I have big fire extinguishers though. I'm sure they make little ones that you can put in your vehicle. On second thoughts, it's definitely okay to have a fire extinguisher in your car because I've seen them in big trucks before, like when you rent a Penske or something. Yeah, you can put one in your car. I don't know why I questioned that. I always worry about like gases and things that could heat up too hot in the heat in your vehicle, but apparently that's fine because they put them in the big rental trucks. Oh, another thing here, an umbrella or a poncho. I have this one vacuum sealed because once you open a poncho, like these kind of disposable plastic ones, you can't like get them back into a small compact shape. So I just vacuum sealed it. But an umbrella, poncho, if you have to leave your vehicle and hike for a couple miles to get to a gas station or whatever it might be to go look for help, and it's pouring down rain, you're going to be very thankful that you had an umbrella in your vehicle. And did I already talk about this? I don't think I talked about this. A jump box. This thing has been incredibly helpful for me, and I'm so thankful that I actually got it. I had some battery issues. It always seems that the battery issues happen like right when your battery warranty is about to be up. That's when they start going bad. Like at that, if you have a 2-year warranty, it starts going bad right at the 2-year mark. Let's see. So right now it's got, this is a full battery. What it's lighting up on right now is like 3/4, and then that's like half or less. So it'll tell you how much juice it has left. But this is not one that you have to leave on very long. You literally put it on the contacts, maybe sit like 10 seconds, and then turn the key, and your car should be working. It does have a little light here. I'm not going to light that up, but I've actually helped somebody. There's this lady on the side of the road, and it was probably not the smartest thing I've ever done, but I pulled over and I helped her, jumped her vehicle. She went on her merry way. It could have been a bad situation, but I saw that she was all by herself. So I helped her out. Great thing to have. You just charge up the battery with like an extension cord. I don't know if you can see that. Make sure it stays charged. Just don't keep this in your vehicle and assume that it's charged. Make sure you check the battery to see if it's actually charged. And if you don't have a jump box, make sure you have jumper cables in your vehicle. The reason I like this is because I don't need to depend on somebody else driving up and jumping me off. So I can do it on my own with that. But most everybody has jumper cables. That's not true. Most everybody should have jumper cables in their vehicle, but that means that you have to have another person to help you out. If you don't know how to use jumper cables, that's something you might want to practice. You need to know positive, negative. You need to know which ones to ground when you're using jumper cables from one vehicle to another. These are just simple things that, you know, I've learned because I've had a couple of crappy vehicles. You may have never ever had any kind of vehicle issues because you keep maybe a newer vehicle, you've never had an old junky vehicle, but these are things that most everybody should know. And if I left anything out that you think is important, please share it in the comments below, because I think it's incredibly, incredibly important for people to have a kit in their car or have things in their vehicle that will protect them or keep them safe or help them to fare better in a SHTF. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.